Today we're going to be taking a look at what I call an infinity aquarium. I've seen this tank pretty much every single time I come into this local fish store. This is a really unique aquarium located at a fish store here in Escondido, California, and that fish store is called the Love Aquarium. It's owned by a guy named Doug here. He's super cool, bunch of awesome workers here. And this is one of the first tanks that you see when you walk through the door. Now, there is both freshwater and saltwater in this store. However, I think there are more display tanks for saltwater, but this is one of the more rare and unique tanks in the store altogether. Now, what makes it so unique and why I call it an infinity aquarium is because the water trickles over the side of the tank and it looks like this infinity loop of water kind of just circulating through this tank, if that makes any sense. I'll show you guys later in the video when we talk about filtration, but this tank essentially has water cascading over the sides of it and it gets recirculated back into it. This is an acrylic tank, so it's got rounded edges and of course it is rimless, but it's kind of cool because the rounded edges really add to that smooth look to it, if you will. Jumping into the equipment, we're gonna start up top. We've got a basic like Chinese Amazon black box LED. This is probably going to be 100 to 120 watts, somewhere around there, but it's got a bunch of different colored LEDs and it seems to be doing the trick over this tank. It's got a nice gooseneck that goes down and attaches to the back side of the stand. Now for filtration, as we can see, the water cascades over the side of the aquarium and into a small tray. There is a slight slant, so all that water gets channeled into one section that drains down into the sump. We can see that sump is kind of like a tier system, so it goes through some filter socks and eventually lands into where the protein skimmer is. The return pump is the only source of flow inside of this tank, so it gets shot back up to the back right side of the aquarium. Now this is roughly a 30-gallon tank, and if you do the standard 10 times over whatever your gallons is, you get about 300 gallons per hour is what you would want your return pump to be. He said this is much more than 300 gallons per hour, so however much that is providing all of the flow for this tank. Granted, you probably couldn't have a lot of flow in this tank because if you did, it would just spill over the sides. This aquarium has no lid, which means it's not gonna have any fish in it. The only inhabitant is this coral banded shrimp, I believe is what it's called. Jumping into the corals and what we've got growing inside, it's a mixture of pretty much everything. We've got mangroves to macroalgae, we've got a bunch of softies, we've got nice plating montiporas, and we've got just a ton of different LPS in there as well. So it's packed with everything and it really is filled to the brim with corals. And there's just a ton of different life in every little nook and cranny that you look. So again, this is a 30-gallon tank. In my opinion, I would consider this a nano-sized aquarium. It's very impressive to keep so many different kinds of corals and a lot of them packed in a tank like this. This is a very mature aquarium. I asked Doug, the owner, how old this aquarium is, and he said it's in the ballpark of about 17 years old, which is crazy. A common question people ask is how do they keep the glass clean? This is simply done by just cleaning the glass and doing it religiously. It doesn't have the latest and greatest equipment, and it's a 17-year-old tank and it's still running top notch. And in my opinion, this is still a very impressive aquarium that stands out with a lot of new tanks today. Another hot question was, how is evaporation with this aquarium? They top it off once a day, and sometimes in the summertime they'll even have to top it off twice a day. The kind of open top aired look fits the aquarium very well. I didn't mention the stand. It does sit on just a normal black stand, but it does sit in that tray, which is a key opponent to the filtration system. Again, a very unique tank. I'm super happy that I was able to come in and film it. Thank you, Doug. If you guys are in the SoCal area, then be sure to check out the Love Aquarium in Escondido. It's a really nice little shop and it's got a little bit of everything in there. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to check out my other socials. Link is in the bio. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out.